sure that I'm actually online because this has a tendency to not want to actually start up. But I think we are live, and I want to thank everybody who is showing up to watch this wonderful interview stream of the one, the only Irate Bear. How you doing, man?
Hello. I'm not too bad, mate. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Let's see. We haven't talked in a while. I think the last time that we were on stream together would have been that dog show thing that I did several months back.
That was with Bloodwing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. Just kind of like not talk about politics or anything like that. Just talk about dogs. That was refreshing. That was probably one of my most fondest streams that I've ever been on. So I just want to thank you again for that one. That was good.
Yeah, it's no problem, man. Sometimes you have to get away from the social, political aspect of what we do here on YouTube, I think.
Certainly, certainly. It there's you can get bogged down. You can get bogged down. Even though you may have fun, poking fun at the SJWs and stuff like that, it still bogs you down after a certain amount of time. So, how's everything over there in the UK?
Yeah, this is a question that I try to answer as objectively as I possibly can, because many, especially Americans, hashtag no shade, tend to blow it a little bit out of proportion. Yeah, yes, things are fairly bad, but the tide is turning against the leftists and the things like the Muslim rape gangs and stuff like that. Yes, we
Excellent.
still have the hate speech laws in place. Brexit is, I don't even know what the fuck's happening with Brexit. All I know, I think I heard today that Theresa May's taking control of negotiations. That's not good.
Oh,
That's
that's
not
not good
good.
at all.
Considering that she's pro EU, she's a Ramona.
Yeah,
Um, you got people like Owen Jones on the streets, LARPing as some kind of revolutionary now, screaming about fascist this and fascist that, as if the UK is overrun by fascists. Moron. And he's even taking to doing what some of these lefty fringe groups are doing now. Apparently, we can't be heard, according to Wiki Snow in the chat there.
ah, is it a problem with Bear's audio, or is it a problem with mine?
It wouldn't surprise me if it was mine, because Discord is a pain in the ass.
It kind of is. It kind of is. I cranked up your sound to 200% in my. So we're just waiting for is it Bear's audio that is low, or is it my audio?
I'm sure it'll catch up in a few seconds, mate. I'm sure it will. Nice background noise, not annoying at all, from Ceruleus Crowder there. I assume
Sorry,
you're playing some background music, perhaps?
no, that is my air conditioner. I live in Texas. It is hell degrees Fahrenheit here. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. I in order to keep alive, I have to have the AC pretty much cranked up to 11.
Oh, okay. Trez says it's me that's quiet, and apparently you're loud as shit. So I just have to get right into
Ooh.
my mic here, I guess. I'll go into my own settings quickly, just to see whether it's that. I have lots of problems with Discord.
Discord is an ass. Discord is an ass.
Test, 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 test.
Well, you sound fine to me. I'm just worried about what the audience is experiencing right now. Trey Silver, don't blame Discord. Okay, man. Oh boy, you're really high on the personal accountability. I see, Silver Wolf. That's an admirable trait. We must all be personally accountable to our own situations. So I think Bear is okay. So Wiki Snow says Bear, you are fine. So I think whatever you did was sufficient in getting your audio up. Did he jump out of the? I think he might have jumped out of the. No, he's still there. Maybe he muted himself. Oh boy. Oh, there he is. And Bear is back. Okay, they say that your audio is fine now, so you can try that. Try talking again. My cat wants to jump up on my lap. All right, kitty, come here, you. Oh, goodness, feed you too many treats. Okay. Oh. And he's back again. Sorry about this, gang. A little bit of technical difficulties. Bear says, for fuck's sake. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I know. It's Discord. It's Discord. Silverwolf apparently doesn't want us to blame Discord. But all for this snafu. But I am perfectly fine with blaming Discord, because Discord has this habit of screwing me over. Well, screwing everybody over, I guess, because I don't know. But they do try hard. They do try hard. It's not Discord. Oh boy. Let's see. Let me ask him what's going on. Bear says Discord is fucking shit. I think he disagrees with you, Silverwolf. Oh, God.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
I hear you fine. I hear you fine.
Test, 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 test. Penis. Penis?
Penis, penis, penis. There we go.
Ah, I'm back. Good. There we go. Fucking piece of shit Discord. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you pretty good. Can everybody else hear him? Yeah. So.
Need a fucking cigarette now.
It's certainly a stressful situation when you can't get a stupid friggin' piece of technology to work.
Yeah, download the stream afterwards, cut this bit out, and then we'll start again.
I actually like the spontaneity. I like the spontaneity of when things go wrong. I come from an artistic background, and there's no
come from an autistic background or an artistic background.
Maybe both.
It's okay, mate. I've got the Downs-tism, so it's fine.
There we go. We're like a pair of bookends.
There we go. So where was I? What was I saying?
Let's see. You were talking about Theresa May and her shortcomings.
Oh yeah. So now she's the one who's going to be negotiating Brexit, and if a common rule book, which was the set of negotiations she wanted to put towards the EU, if we're going to go off that, then we can't trust her. We absolutely cannot trust her at all. And I believe I also briefly spoke about Owen Jones, that little shit. He's now taken to using the tactics of fringe leftist groups by quote-unquote defunding hate, and is now going after anybody who he deems as an extremist, despite him being a fucking communist.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's going after Nigel Farage and LBC Radio for, well, I guess, having Nigel Farage on for his own radio show.
Yeah, when you pick up the pitchfork, it's hard to put it down. And
it is.
Yeah,
it is. He never used to be this bad. He's become more and more extreme in the last couple of years.
Well, I think he senses, and I think a lot with a lot of people on the left in the UK. I think they sense that their window of time is closing. That they're starting to lose their grip.
Or it could be the other way around.
True. True.
with Corbyn's Labour Party. Honestly, I could see them coming to power in 2021, 2022, whenever the next general election happens.
Also,
And then,
I
and then
would.
we're going to be fucked for 5 years.
Yeah, I would point this out. It's that's just the general modus operandi. That's just the behavior that you can expect from authoritarians. Is they always want to take control of, well, everybody, everyone.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious. Well, I suppose I shouldn't be really curious. Given the passion that you have for talking about these subjects, is that exactly what was your journey to YouTube? What brought you to the platform?
Believe it or not, originally it wasn't politically or socially motivated. It was something to do. Quite some time ago. Let me see, when did I actually set up a channel? So it must have been after I became severely ill and then ended up in a position where I couldn't work. And then Vanilla Bear sort of established her career as a carer. It must have been after then. So what had happened was, I told you I used to work as a guy, like a labourer, doing like building driveways and patios and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one day, as I was on a cigarette break, I was leant up against a pallet of driveway bricks, if you like. And no, it didn't fall on me. It didn't fall on me. Trust me, I'm a lot more likely to fall onto it than it is to fall on me. And all of a sudden, I couldn't breathe.
Ow. I
couldn't breathe at all. And no matter what, I got into a massive panic. I couldn't understand why I couldn't breathe. I ended up flailing around. My boss's back was turned to me at the time. I couldn't speak. And it lasted for what felt like roughly 30 seconds or so. And then it stopped. I had no idea what the fuck it was. It was extremely painful and jarring and really unsettling. But the next day, got ready for work, and I ended up on the floor of my living room, unable to breathe properly. I could still breathe. It wasn't as bad as the initial attack, if you will, but I was my breathing was exacerbated at the time. Ended up being, put in an ambulance, put on morphine.
Oh wow.
Went through several different tests, and it turned out I was diagnosed with pericarditis, which is an inflammation of the pericardium, which surrounds your heart.
Oh.
So my heart was being strangled by its own protective sacs, if you will.
Man.
And yeah, it was very unpleasant. And it happened a further like 6 times. But basically, after the first attack, I had to tell my boss that I needed to be off work. But because he's a sole trader, he needed someone to be there to help him. And I lost my job. And I think I tried to do like a couple of other jobs and stuff, but things didn't work out for me doing those jobs. And then and then Vanilla Bad went to work and started her career as a carer for the elderly. And it was roughly after that time I got really down in the dumps. I couldn't do anything because this fucking shit kept happening to me over and over again. And I was like, well, I like YouTube. I like watching YouTubers. I was a massive fan of the commentary genre.
Yeah.
Back then. Not the social commentary genre, the commentary genre. So people like Paracynical, Keemstar, Orcs, Gas, Grade A, Under A, all them sort of people.
Mm-hmm.
And my original influence for starting YouTube was Grade A, Under A.
Good channel.
It was a good channel until he completely abandoned it.
Yeah.
Madman that he is. And I tried to do something similar to him. I tried, but rather than from my own perspective, I would tell my own life stories, but I would use crappy images I created in Paint and tried to make my own animations and stuff like that. But that was just, it used to take about 9 hours to make one of those videos, and it just, it was a little bit too much. So I tried a bunch of different stuff. networked a bit, and then I settled on my current channel, which wasn't called Irate Bear at the time. It was called, cringely enough, Brown Bear Entertainment. And I basically went back to the story time videos, but with a gaming backdrop. And one day, I asked my 74 subscribers, because because I just couldn't grow, I guess. Didn't know anything about YouTube at the time properly anyway. I asked my 74 subscribers what video would they like to see next. And of all people, Bearing turned up in the comment section. And I knew who he was. I was a massive fan of his. I started watching the commentary genre, or the social commentary and political commentary genre, way before then anyway. And Bearing had been growing like crazy. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
I was like, we got fucking YouTube royalty in my little shitty 74 subscriber comment section here.
Yeah.
And he was offering to have a chat with me. So a couple of days later, I got onto a Skype call with him, and we spoke for about 30 minutes, and we talked about life, we spoke about YouTube, and I said to him that I'd always considered doing similar things to him, but had always had a level of fear about speaking my mind.
Yeah.
Because, well, you know the kind of environment that we all currently live in politically.
Yes, yes, I
and
do.
it's been that way for several years. And he convinced me to not be afraid anymore and to have a crack at it, and I did. I started to really enjoy it, and then I started growing, and I just kind of went from there, really.
So your story and my story have a lot of similarities. I was out of work. I was looking for something to do, and I started watching YouTube videos, and happened upon a Paul Joseph Watson video, and I knew him from a long time ago. I used to listen to the Alex Jones show back in late 90s, early 2000s, so I knew who Paul Joseph Watson was. And he was interviewing some guy named the Angry Foreigner, this Croatian guy from Sweden, and so that's how I started watching more and more people. I started watching Mr. Mediker. Used to watch started watching the Honey Badgers. I started watching Thunderfoot and TJ and Armored Skeptic, and a lot. It just mushroomed out from there, and so that was kind of my thing. I didn't actually start doing political stuff until maybe a year after I started my channel. So that would have been late 2016, early 2017. So that's kind of the birth of my more controversial side as far as that goes. So you and I have a lot of common ground there as far as how we evolved into the content creators that we are now. Let's see.
Croatian guy from Sweden. I did notice you say that, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah. Let's see.
You're talking about Angry Foreigner, Croatian guy from Sweden. It's
yeah. Well,
Croatian guy who lives in Sweden.
Yeah.
It's just Crower being pedantic in the chat.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I would say I would definitely our biggest difference here is I started to have a hobby and to get away from my own mental prison, if you like, because I was going through a very, very low point at the time.
Yeah, I was just bored, so that's I
wasn't passionate. You know, I didn't have any. Even though I was watching people like Bearing and Sugar Tits and lots of other shit posty creators at the time, I wasn't particularly passionate about any of it, really. The passion came later.
Yeah.
As my eyes began to open,
right,
and I began to learn more and more, and sort of submerge myself into the world of the fight for free speech, the fight, the culture war, if you will.
So when that red pill starts starts really working into the system, that's when the passion starts to kick in. That's how it was with me. And it took about a year before I started get my gumption up to do something more controversial that I'd been doing. I've been doing cooking videos and painting demonstrations and movie reviews and stuff like that. Just a bunch of normie shit that I don't really do much anymore. So
Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course.
no. That's perfectly fine if that's your thing. So you
Speaking of the red pill, before you carry on,
go ahead.
The next 6 minutes, I hate using that term because I find it cringy as fuck. But
It
if we
has
are
become,
going to-
yeah.
if we are going to use that term, I would say it was a very, very slow process for me. And I don't think it ever truly sat in until I started learning about the men's rights movement.
Yeah.
And that's when it actually began to I had a physical reaction to it. And I think that's where a lot of the passion tends to come from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, please carry on.
Oh, I was just gonna. I was just curious. Just out of the blue one day, it was like you had been invited to. I believe it was the Halloween stream last year, and I don't know exactly how exactly that came to be. How did you run across the Chaos120 group?
Was it Sil who introduced me to it? When
It
she was
might have
part of
been. It might have been either that or I was thinking that either that or Plain Speech. I don't know who actually got in contact with you first.
I think it may have been Sil.
Yeah. She's really good at networking. That's one of her skills.
Yeah.
I suck at networking, but she was always really good at that.
No, I certainly found that when I started, it was probably my greatest strength.
Yeah, you get a lot of really good, good guests. Your streams are always really top notch because you have a good sense for bringing the really good conversationalists and the funny people and just the quick wit. Yeah, you seem to be able to get those puzzle pieces to connect, and that's one of the qualities.
As much as I don't like to publicly admit it, as much of a shut-in as I am a people person.
Yeah.
As much as I hate people, I'm unfortunately a people person. So.
Well, you just have a good personality. That's probably the one thing that sets the people that people actually want to stream with from the ones that typically don't get a lot of people to stream with. It boils down to charisma. It boils down to personality. It boils down to personability. It's a lot of things, and those are some of the qualities that I've noticed that you have in spades. I guess is the.
Oh, well, thank you for sucking my dick. I appreciate it.
hey, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for.
I don't consider myself to be particularly charismatic, but I certainly know how to deal with people. So
yeah. Let's see. You've started a number of projects since you started doing this whole YouTube thing.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Yeah, you've done a number of projects, and look, I'm not gonna disparage anything that you've done. It is part and parcel of the creative mind to want to create things and want to expand and want to try new things and try different things. There's not always an audience for it, but it is something that it's part of what drives someone with a creative mind. And I think you and I both share sort of like an artistic brain, and that's kind of our thought process, and that's what we want to do. That's how we express ourselves. That's how we make ourselves comfortable in our own environment. So just saying that, where do you see your channels in perhaps the next 6 months to a year?
Firstly, I obviously need to address the whole creating channel after channel kind of thing. And whereas I do think I can certainly agree with you that I definitely have a creative mind, I suppose. My biggest, like I would say, like where I concentrate creativity comes from my writing, more than anything else. Like I can't draw for shit. Like I can't do any other. I'm good at making videos and I'm good at writing shit, and that's about it. But I experience massive low periods that last for 3 to 4 weeks at a time, and I've just recently got out of one. And creating new channels or creating a new format, I guess, is my way of dealing with it.
Yeah.
In some way, and I have 3 channels. I maintain 2 of them full time, and obviously I've got Irate Bear and I've got Irate Alex. Ideally, I'd want Irate Alex to become my main channel, but where do I see them in 6 months? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know.
Sometimes that's the best answer to have, because it leaves you open, it leaves you flexible. It keeps the doors that need to be open until you're ready to choose to either close them or walk through them. That's generally my attitude as far as that goes.
Yeah, I mean, setting goals for yourself as well can obviously end in disappointment as well, but I also don't think it's technically a bad thing to aim higher for something.
True.
In terms of Irate Bear, it's where obviously the majority of my passions lie in the social commentary kind of thing, speaking about important things like, you know, free speech, stuff like that. But I also kind of want to have a certain level of fun there. I just want to keep it mixed up on Irate Bear, and I want Irate Alex to be my normie channel, I suppose. I'm not even sure we can even call it that, to be honest. A nice healthy mixture of gaming, reaction videos, and a place to experiment as well, rather than creating channel after channel after channel. I'd rather do it there than anywhere else. But in 6 months' time, ideally I'd like them to grow considerably.
Yeah.
Considerably.
I would like my channels to grow, my primary and of course my live stream channel to grow, mostly because I just like talking to people, and this is something I talked to Gutenberg about in his interview. This is being on YouTube and being able to talk to the sheer number and variety of people that I have has been such a fruitful experience for me, and that's what I look forward to most when I do streaming, and when I get to meet people that I have not been exposed to before. It's like, hey, nice meeting you, man. Nice meeting you. So it's that is what I get out from this experience. But you may feel the same way. Did we lose? I think we lost him. Oh goodness.
No, I'm still here. I'm just listening to you.
Okay. Sorry. Let's see. So yeah, that's
for me. I don't know whether I benefit at all from speaking to people. I mean, I do a lot of live streams on Irate Bear where I just basically sit there and talk to the chat, and I do thoroughly enjoy that. And obviously, I do enjoy speaking to lots of different people from different backgrounds and different walks of life with varying opinions on live streams and stuff. But it's more this sense of that, more that sense of accomplishment. When I finish a video, I've put work into that video. Not necessarily all of them, because some of them I don't.
Right.
Some of them I just literally sit there and just rip them to pieces. But the ones that I do put a lot of effort into, I will script and put a lot of work into, and I have a lot of satisfaction when that video's uploaded. And seeing how that video does. It's a little bit of a rush for me to upload that video and see how it does. You know, over a course of 48 hours, to see what people thought about it, to see what kind of criticisms were there, what people enjoyed about the video, whether they agree or disagree with me, that kind of thing, you know.
That's how you hone your craft. As one piece of steel sharpens another, so another man sharpens another man. It's I really butchered that quote, but yeah, what's more or less that.
Yeah, it's a little bit gay though.
A little bit gay, but
A
yeah.
little bit gay, yeah.
Let's see. Insofar as what you've been able to observe, what do you think are the biggest key differences between content creators from the States and content creators from the UK? What are there any really fundamental stylistic differences between our respective communities as far as that goes?
I would say politically, yes. At least on a political level, there is, because our right wing is different to your right wing.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
If you were to have an American conservative politician walk into the House of Commons and advocate for his conservative beliefs, there's a very good chance that the left in the UK, the white middle class, would spurg the fuck out.
Yes, yes.
They really would. And I also find that slightly true of British content creators as well. I find that, that many of them are left-leaning. I call them lefty skeptics, but that's not really the proper terminology to use to them. But I would say that they're definitely more liberal.
I would describe
overall.
a lot of the content creators, the left-leaning content creators that I've seen from the UK thus far. I would describe the lion's share of them as at least my definition of classical liberal.
Yeah.
It's very just more on like center left or moderate left would be my description of most of the left-leaning content creators from the UK that I've observed so far. There are some outliers, of course, here and there, but for most of them would be in that category as far as I've been able to observe.
Yeah, yeah. The majority, I would say, the majority are centrist or radical centrist, I suppose, or liberals. I would say there are very few right-leaning, or at least on an American level, right-leaning
Yeah.
Content creators from Great Britain. I guess that's just the way we are.
Yeah. I used to do a lot of jokes about the the centrist extremist going to the refrigerator and trying to decide between jam and marmalade.
Yeah, yeah. I used to describe myself as a centrist, and I don't really consider myself one anymore. But how I make videos is a bit different. I sort of developed this kind of thing where I try to be pragmatic about how I express myself in my videos. Rather than give my actual opinion, I tend to give it from the perspective of if I was a politician.
I used to be when I was in my late teens and a little bit into my early 20s, but I was sobering up from about then. But we didn't have a name for it, of course, back then. But I was very much what people would describe as an SJW now. In the early to mid 90s.
I used to be a commie, so
yeah. I was an authoritarian control freak, Republican hating SJW, proto SJW back in the early 90s. So I've made that shift to more like a conservative moderate over the last 25 years, I would say.
Well, what's that old saying about like being liberal in your 20s? Like if you're not a conservative by the time you're 30, then you're lost, or something like that. I forget the term.
Something like that. If you're not left leaning when you're a teenager or early 20s, yeah, it's something to that effect. We all grow and we all evolve in our own ways, and fortunately,
not Owen Jones apparently.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
Or Jeremy Corbyn, for that matter.
Oh, some people just never learn. Some people,
stubborn, stubborn shitbags, but they're always there to be laughed at. So,
I think, in some ways they serve as like a natural counterbalance, but you have to make sure that they don't outweigh what they're trying to counterbalance, because when that happens, you sink into a very deep hole that's hard to get out of, and things like Brexit are necessary.
Absolutely. I absolutely abhor globalism, and that's what the EU represents to me.
Exactly.
Authoritarian globalism.
It is a curse of the modern era.
Well, this is the thing with the EU, is it wasn't always a political unit as it is now. It wasn't a bureaucratic, wasteful organization with too much middle management, too much upper management as well. That didn't seek to try to control and ban everything,
Right.
and regulate everything. It was once upon a time, it was the idea that European nation states could freely trade amongst themselves.
Yeah. It had humble
That was
beginnings. It was a lot of good intentions, but you know, as they say, the road to ruin is paved with good intentions, and it, for my understanding, it slowly got out of control and became what it is, essentially today. It's a political control grid for.
It is. It's quickly becoming the Fourth Reich.
Yeah.
With Angela Merkel having the sheer amount of control that she does over the EU,
Right.
an EU military budget being created, and the formation of the EU military command being formed. That in itself is extremely worrying, and them trying to regulate mainstream media, even alternative media, trying to regulate the internet. They try to regulate everything, and that's why they piss me off so much.
Yeah, and certainly what has become of the U.S. politics has become very disturbing to me. The Obama years were a very bizarre time, and so much that I remember in the '80s and even in the '90s, you could joke about things. You could tell a joke without people trying to get you fired. Try to shame you publicly. You could say a dirty joke, and nobody would bat an eye. They would roll their eyes and ignore you if they didn't particularly care for you. Then you have.
UK was very similar back then as well.
Then you have
Very similar.
and then you have the recent things with, of course, with Milo Yiannopoulos with his troubles, and you had Roseanne Barr. The left really, hey, they set a precedent, and with this James Gunn thing, they're being forced to live by their own rules, and they're not liking it. Now they're starting to get a taste of their own medicine. Get a taste of what they've been trying to force on everybody else.
I don't like the use of Rule 4. I really don't. I don't like the idea of forcing the enemy to live up to its own standards. It looks hypocritical.
It does. It's not a tool that anybody should like using.
And I did make a video about this, and I released it yesterday. I understand why people are now using it. Why conservatives who preached free speech all over their social media and in videos are now doing it. But I understand why they're doing it. I disagree with it though, and I believe it's morally reprehensible and ethically wrong to do it.
Yeah.
But I can understand why people do it.
Yeah. It's the playbook that we're sometimes forced to use, and it doesn't make us feel comfortable. It doesn't make us feel good. most of us will reluctantly use it because that is something that you bear a lot of responsibility, a lot of accountability when you take that road, because it's not necessarily the high road. It's one of those middle roads that very muddy waters, and yeah, you lose a little bit when you take those roads, and
Yeah. Like I'm sure all of us are guilty of using it on a personal level,
mm-hmm.
against a spouse, a partner, a friend, or even just someone that you just don't like in general out in your personal life. But using it on this scale,
Yeah, it should make everybody uncomfortable. It should.
yeah, it really does. But I can understand why people would use it. I really can.
Yeah.
And what my hope is, and I guess I'm going to probably be the only person again in the genre to be optimistic and probably naive about it. But I am hoping that this use of Rule 4 will bring everything back to normal.
I hope so. Good hard reset, and that's what we need.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping it does. That's what I'm hoping it does. But I fear I may be naive in believing that.
We will see. We will see. That's certainly something that we will observe as the future unfolds. That being said, and I guess we'll leave it off on that note. I want to thank everybody that showed up to watch this wonderful interview with this really awesome gentleman here, and I want to thank this very awesome gentleman here for being my guest here on the Chaos120 interviews. And
That's not a problem.
excellent. And this was a really great interview. I've been really enjoying this thing that I've been doing, and I want to wish you a very good day, and you have a. I hope that your arm feels better very soon.
Oh, thank you very much, man. Thank you very much for having me as well.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Well, I guess this is it from Chaos 120 Group Land. Thank you again, everybody, and we will see you again next time.